The starship Defiant floated through the darkness of space. Its metal hull gleamed under the light of distant stars. Commander Lisa Ward sat in her captain's chair, her blue uniform crisp and neat. She was about to make history as the leader of humanity's first meeting with aliens. 5 minutes until we reach the meeting point, said Officer Jack Collins. His strong hands moved across the control panel. Lisa nodded. Send the greeting message again. I want them to know we come in peace. The message went out into space, carrying words of friendship in all Earth languages and mathematical codes. The crew of 30 men and women waited, their hearts beating fast with excitement. After decades of searching the stars, humans had finally found other intelligent life. The Zenari Confederation had answered Earth's signals 3 months ago. They were a group of 7 alien species who traveled the stars together. The large screen at the front of the bridge showed a ship appearing in the distance. It was 3 times bigger than the Defiant. Its shape reminded Lisa of a giant manta ray with smooth curves and wing-like extensions. They're beautiful, whispered Communications Officer Maria Garcia. More ships appeared, surrounding the first one. Lisa counted 12 in total. That was strange. The agreement was for 1 ship from each side. Commander, they're not responding to our messages, said Maria, her voice now worried. Jack moved closer to Lisa. I don't like this. Their weapon systems are active. Before Lisa could respond, the screen lit up with a bright flash. A beam of energy hit the Defiant, shaking the entire ship. We're under attack, shouted Jack. Shields failing. Lisa grabbed the ship's communication system. This is Commander Ward of Earth. We come in peace. Please stop. Another blast hit them. Part of the ceiling fell, crushing 2 crew members. Smoke filled the bridge. Get to the escape pods, Lisa ordered. She helped a wounded officer to his feet. Jack grabbed a data drive from his station. I'm downloading their weapons data. Earth needs to know what we're facing. The ship rocked again. Warning lights flashed red. The computer voice announced, critical damage. Hull breach in sections 3 through 7. Evacuation recommended. Lisa and Jack dragged themselves through smoke-filled corridors. Bodies of crew members lay on the floor. Some escape pods had already launched, but most were destroyed. Here, Jack found one working pod. Get in. They climbed inside the small pod as the ship broke apart around them. Jack's hands flew across the controls. The pod shot away from the dying, Defiant just as a massive explosion tore the ship apart. Through the pod's window, Lisa watched her ship become a ball of fire. Tears streamed down her face. 25 good people, gone in minutes. Why? She whispered. We didn't threaten them. Jack checked the pod systems. His face was grim. Low oxygen. Communications damage. But the emergency beacon is working. Lisa wiped her tears. How long until someone finds us? If we're lucky, a Earth patrol might pick us up in 3 days. Lisa looked at the data drive Jack had saved. Did you get enough? Jack nodded. Their weapons, shield frequencies, engine signatures. It's all there. Pain shot through Lisa's body. She looked down and saw a metal shard embedded in her side. Blood soaked her uniform. You're hurt, Jack said, reaching for the medical kit. His own arm hung at an odd angle, broken. It doesn't matter, Lisa said. We need to send this data to Earth now. Use the emergency channel. Jack connected the drive to the pod system. It'll drain our power faster. Do it anyway. Earth needs to prepare. As the data transmitted, Lisa looked out at the Zenari ships. They were already leaving, not bothering to finish off the escape pods. They didn't consider humans worth the effort. They think we're weak, she said softly. They think this is over. Jack finished the transmission. Message sent. Now we wait. Lisa nodded, her face hardening despite the pain. They've unleashed hell. But they have no idea what humans do when backed into a corner. The escape pod drifted through the silence of space, carrying the 2 survivors and a warning for Earth. The stars were not safe, and humanity would need to fight for its survival. 5 years passed since the attack on the Defiant. Earth had changed. Cities now had giant shield domes. Space stations with big guns circled the planet. Everyone knew war was coming. Admiral William Porter stood by the window in his office on the moon base. His gray hair was cut short, and deep lines marked his face. He watched as thousands of ships practiced battle formations between Earth and Mars. A woman in a white lab coat entered the room. Dr. Amanda Hughes carried a tablet with charts and diagrams. Her red hair was tied back, and dark circles under her eyes showed she hadn't slept much. "The new engines are ready," she said. "We installed them on the last 50 ships yesterday." William nodded. "And the weapons?" Amanda smiled for the first time in days. "Better than we hoped. The data Jack and Lisa sent us was worth its weight in gold. We understand Zenari technology now, and we've improved it." Jack Collins walked in, now wearing a colonel's uniform. His right arm was metal from the elbow down, a reminder of his escape from the Defiant. "The defense grid is at full power. All citizens have been trained on basic combat and emergency protocols." William looked at the map of Earth's solar system on his wall screen. Small dots showed their ships and bases hidden throughout. The Zenari would not find an easy target this time. "Any word from our deep space monitors?" he asked. Jack's face grew serious. "Yes, sir. They're coming. A fleet 3 times larger than what attacked the Defiant. They'll reach Neptune's orbit by tomorrow." William took a deep breath. "So it begins. Alert all commands. Execute Operation Grim Resolve." Across the solar system, hidden ships powered up. Soldiers said goodbye to families and boarded battle stations. On Earth, people moved to underground shelters, carrying weapons and supplies. In New Washington, President Nancy Kelly addressed the world from a bunker deep beneath the city. Her steady voice reached every home, ship, and colony. "For 5 years, we have prepared, we have built, we have trained. The aliens who attacked us without cause believed we would be easy prey. They were wrong. Humanity stands united as never before. We will not surrender. We will not bend. We remember those we lost, and we will honor them with our courage." The next day, the Zenari fleet appeared near Neptune. Hundreds of ships, just as Jack had reported. Their vessels were larger and more numerous than Earth's, but humans had spent 5 years preparing surprises. The largest Zenari ship broadcast a message to Earth. The alien's face looked like a mix between a lizard and an insect. Its voice was translated by computers. "Humans, your existence has been noted by the Zenari Confederation. Your technology is primitive. Your weapons are inadequate. Your species is young and unworthy. Surrender now and serve as a client race, or be eliminated. You have 6 Earth hours to respond." The message played on screens across the solar system. In homes and shelters, humans watched with anger, not fear. President Kelly stood before the camera in the military command center. Admiral Porter, Dr. Hughes, and Colonel Collins stood behind her. Her response was brief. "5 years ago, you attacked our peaceful mission. You killed our people without provocation or warning. You believed we would cower or beg for mercy." She paused, her eyes hard. "You unleashed hell. Now it's our turn." She nodded to Admiral Porter, who pressed a button on his control panel. Throughout the solar system, hidden bases and ships revealed themselves. Weapons powered up. Engines glowed. 5 years of human ingenuity, determination, and rage took physical form as the Earth fleet moved toward the enemy. On the Zenari command ship, the alien leader watched in surprise as hundreds of human vessels appeared where sensors had detected nothing moments before. For the first time, a flicker of doubt crossed its alien features. The battle for humanity's survival had begun. Colonel Frank Martinez floated in the darkness of space. His black suit made him almost invisible against the stars. Behind him, 4 more shapes moved slowly toward the massive Zenari flagship. 10 minutes of oxygen left, said Olivia Clark through the radio in his helmet. She was the team's computer expert. Her fingers were the fastest on Earth when it came to hacking alien systems. "Keep moving," Frank ordered. "Daniel, how are the charges?" Daniel Wright checked the explosives attached to his suit. "Ready to blow a nice big hole in their ship, sir." The fifth member of the team, Kevin Reyes, kept watch behind them. Before the Zenari came, he had been a spy. Now he used those skills against aliens instead of other humans. The team reached the hull of the Zenari ship. It was huge, bigger than any building on Earth. They attached themselves to the metal surface with magnetic boots. "Perfect spot," Daniel said. He placed a small device against the hull. "Everyone back up." They moved away. Daniel pressed a button on his wrist. A silent flash of light created a hole in the ship. Air rushed out, but no alarm sounded. "They don't know we're here," Frank said. "Move in." They entered the Zenari ship. The corridors were tall and wide, made for the larger aliens. The team moved quickly, following the map Dr. Hughes had created based on captured Zenari data. "This way to the central computer," Olivia whispered. They hid as two Zenari guards walked past. The aliens were 7 feet tall with 4 arms and scaly skin. They carried energy weapons that could cut a human in half. The team reached a large door. Kevin worked on the lock while the others kept watch. "We're in," he said as the door slid open. Inside was a room filled with blinking lights and strange technology. Olivia went straight to what looked like a control panel. "Cover me," she said. "This will take a few minutes." Frank, Daniel, and Kevin guarded the door while Olivia connected a small device to the Zenari computer. The device contained a virus created by Dr. Hughes after studying Zenari technology for 5 years. "Hurry," Frank urged. "We don't have much time before they find us." Olivia worked quickly. "Almost there. The Zenari systems are complex, but the virus is breaking through their security." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed in the corridor. "They know we're here," Kevin said, raising his weapon. Frank checked his gun. "How much longer?" "Just a few more seconds," Olivia replied, typing faster. The sound of running footsteps grew louder in the corridor. Daniel planted explosives by the door. "Ready to give them a warm welcome," he said with a grim smile. "Done," Olivia shouted. "The virus is uploaded." The door burst open. Daniel pressed a button. The explosives went off, sending several Zenari flying backward. "Move to extraction point," Frank ordered. They fought their way through the ship, shooting at the aliens that tried to stop them. Daniel dropped more explosives behind them to slow down their pursuers. They reached an escape pod bay. Kevin quickly hacked the controls to open a pod. "Get in," Frank shouted as energy blasts hit the wall near his head. The team piled into the pod. Olivia sealed the door just as Zenari soldiers entered the bay. The pod launched, shooting away from the flagship. "Did it work?" Frank asked Olivia. She checked her device. On the screen, she could see the virus spreading through the Zenari network. One by one, the lights representing the shields on Zenari ships turned from green to red. "It worked," she said with a smile. "Their shields are down." Frank activated his radio. "This is Operation Thunderclap to Earth Command. The shield is down. Repeat, the shield is down." From his command ship, Admiral Porter received the message. He turned to his officers. "All ships, commence attack. Target the Zenari flagship first." Across the solar system, human ships fired their weapons at the now vulnerable Zenari fleet. The aliens, confident in their superior technology, had never expected their shields to fail. They never expected humans to fight back so effectively. As Frank's team watched from their escape pod, the sky lit up with explosions. The battle for Earth had truly begun. Captain Eric Nelson stood on the bridge of the battleship Retribution. It was the newest and most advanced ship in the human fleet. Through the large front window, he watched as human and Zenari ships fired at each other. Space itself seemed to burn with explosions. "Shields at 80%, reported his second-in-command, Susan Miller. Zenari cruiser approaching from the left. Eric nodded. Prepare the Hughes Martins drive. Let's show them what this ship can do. Engineers had built the special engine using ideas from Dr. Hughes and secrets learned by Colonel Martinez during his missions. The drive let the ship jump short distances in space, something the Zenari tech couldn't do. Drive ready, sir, Susan said. Jump now, Eric ordered. The ship disappeared from its spot and reappeared behind the Zenari cruiser. Before the aliens could turn around, Eric gave the command to fire. The Retribution's guns tore through the enemy ship. Direct hit, shouted the weapons officer. The Zenari ship exploded in a ball of fire, but there was no time to celebrate. 3 more enemy ships turned to attack the Retribution. Jump again, Eric ordered. This time, take us above them. The ship vanished and reappeared above the Zenari vessels. The aliens seemed confused by the human ship's movement. Their shots missed as the Retribution kept jumping from place to place, firing each time it appeared. Across the solar system, other human ships used similar tricks. The Zenari had expected humans to fight in a normal way, with ships moving in straight lines. But humans had learned from watching animals on Earth. They moved like sharks and wolves, using pack tactics and surprising their enemies. On Earth, some Zenari ships broke through the human defenses. They landed troops in major cities. The aliens expected to find helpless civilians. Instead, they found people ready to fight. In New York, Laura Wilson led a group of city workers. They had been bus drivers, office workers, and store clerks before the war. Now they carried guns and knew how to use them. They're coming down 5th Avenue, Laura told her team. Remember your training. The aliens marched forward, firing at buildings. Laura's group waited until they passed, then attacked from behind. More human fighters hit the aliens from side streets. The Zenari soldiers, used to fighting on open battlefields, couldn't handle the city fighting. In Chicago, Gregory Patel operated a defense control center under the old water tower. He was 65 years old and had been a math teacher before the war. Now he directed drones and remote weapons around the city. Zone 5 needs support, said a voice through his radio. Gregory typed commands into his computer, sending drones now. Small flying machines zoomed through the streets, dropping explosives on Zenari troops. Other drones provided medical supplies to injured humans. Back in space, Eric Nelson's Retribution led an attack on the Zenari command ship. 3 human vessels were lost, but they managed to damage the alien ship's engines. They're trying to retreat, Susan told Eric. Eric's face hardened. Not this time. All ships cut off their escape route. Human vessels surrounded the damaged Zenari ship. Eric opened a communication channel. Zenari vessel, this is Captain Eric Nelson of Earth. You came to our home and attacked without reason. You expected us to be easy to defeat. The Zenari commander appeared on the screen. Its alien face showed confusion. Why do you fight like this? It is not logical. Your tactics are not in any war manual. Eric smiled. That's because we wrote a new one. You study war. We live it. Our entire history is filled with conflict. We've been fighting each other for thousands of years, perfecting the art of war. And now we're using everything we've learned against you. The Zenari commander seemed to consider this. We underestimated your species. Yes, Eric agreed. And that was your biggest mistake. As they spoke, more human ships arrived. The tide of battle had turned. For the first time, the mighty Zenari Confederation was being pushed back, not by a superior force, but by a more creative one. Lieutenant Samantha Boyd adjusted her mask as she walked through the captured Zenari ship. The air was breathable for humans, but it smelled strange, like a mix of cinnamon and metal. 6 soldiers followed her, along with 2 scientists carrying equipment. Stay alert, she told her team. We don't know if any Zenari are still hiding on board. The ship had been captured 3 days ago during the battle near Jupiter. Most of the alien crew had escaped in pods, but they left behind their computers and records. Samantha's mission was to find information about the Zenari homeworlds. Dr. Roy Patel scanned the walls with a handheld device. "This way to the main data room," he said, pointing down a curved hallway. The team moved carefully through the alien ship. Everything was built for creatures larger than humans. The doors were tall, the chairs were big, and the control panels were high up on the walls. They reached a large room filled with glowing screens and strange machines. Dr. Patel and the other scientist, Dr. Alice Morgan, went straight to the computers. "Guard the door," Samantha told her soldiers. "Let me know if anything moves out there." The scientists worked quickly, connecting their devices to the alien technology. Dr. Hughes had taught them how to access Zenari systems after studying the data from the Defiant incident. "I'm in," Dr. Morgan said after a few minutes. "Downloading their star charts and fleet movements now." Samantha looked at the screens. Strange symbols flashed by too fast to read. "How long will this take?" "About 20 minutes, Dr. Petal replied. "Their database is huge." Suddenly, one of the soldiers called from the doorway. "Lieutenant, we heard something down the corridor." Samantha raised her weapon. "Keep downloading," she told the scientists. "We'll check it out." She and two soldiers moved down the hallway, following the sound. It came from behind a partly open door. Samantha signaled her team to be ready, then pushed the door all the way open. Inside was not a Zenari soldier, but a cage. In it sat a creature unlike any Samantha had seen before. It was about 5 feet tall with blue skin, 4 arms, and large eyes that took up most of its face. The creature backed away in fear. "Please," it said in broken English. "No hurt." Samantha lowered her gun. "You speak our language." "Little," the creature said. "Learned from other prisoners." "Who are you?" Samantha asked. "Why are you in a cage?" "I am Krelix. My people are Volari. Zenari take our world 3 cycles ago. Make us work in mines. Those who fight become test subjects." Samantha found the control panel for the cage and opened it. Krelix stepped out cautiously. "The Zenari enslave other species?" she asked. Krelix nodded. "Many species, dozens of worlds. Zenari take resources, take workers, take knowledge. Anyone who resists becomes example." One of the soldiers called over the radio. "Lieutenant, the scientists say they found something important. You need to see this." Samantha brought Krelix back to the data room. On the main screen was a map showing hundreds of star systems. Many were marked with symbols. "These are all Zenari-controlled worlds," Dr. Morgan explained. "The different colors show when they were conquered. Red ones are the most recent." "And the blue dots?" Samantha asked. "Those are their next targets. Earth is here." She pointed to a blue dot near the edge of the map. Krelix looked at the map. "Many worlds hate Zenari. Many would fight if given chance." Dr. Patel turned from another screen. "He's right. I found records of at least 20 resistance movements on different worlds. The Zenari are constantly putting down rebellions." Samantha thought about this new information. Earth wasn't just fighting for itself. They were fighting against an empire that had hurt countless worlds. "Krelix," she said, "are there others like you who would join us against the Zenari?" The alien's large eyes seemed to light up. "Many would join. Need weapons. Need ships. Need hope." Samantha made a decision. "We're taking all this data and Krelix back to Earth. Admiral Porter needs to see this." As they prepared to leave, Samantha looked at Krelix. "Join us, and together we'll end their reign of terror." Krelix stood straighter, all 4 hands forming fists. "My people ready to fight. For too long, Zenari bring hell to stars. Time to fight back." Dr. Paul Harrison looked around the large meeting room on the Earth space station Freedom. 2 months ago, this station had been a military base. Now it was the home of something new, the Liberation Alliance. Representatives from 12 alien species sat at the round table. They were all different shapes and sizes. Some had scales, others had fur. Some had multiple arms or eyes. But they shared one thing. All had suffered under Zenari rule. Krelix sat near Paul. The blue-skinned alien had become an important link between humans and the other species. Next to him was Zev, a tall, thin alien with gray skin who had been a scientist before the Zenari took his world. The Zenari fleet is regrouping near the Arcturus system, Paul explained, pointing to a holographic map floating above the table. They're bringing ships from other parts of their empire to use against us. That makes their other territories weaker, said Mila, a female alien with cat-like features. Her people, the Farazi, were known for their fighting skills. We should attack their supply lines while they focus on Earth. Admiral Porter nodded. Exactly. We've prepared a plan to hit their main supply depot in the Arcturus system. If we destroy it, their fleet will run low on fuel and weapons within weeks. The alien representatives studied the plan. Humans had provided them with ships and weapons. In return, they shared their knowledge of Zenari weaknesses and tactics. The Zenari never faced united resistance before, Krelix said. They always conquered one world at a time. They keep slaves separate, afraid of each other. Paul smiled. That's their biggest mistake. They taught everyone to hate them, but they never expected their victims to work together. The plan was approved. Ships from Earth and the allied alien worlds gathered near the edge of the Arcturus system. The human vessels were led by General Sharon Miller, a tough woman who had fought in the first battles against the Zenari. The allied fleet jumped into the system, catching the Zenari by surprise. The supply depot was massive, with thousands of fuel containers and weapons stockpiles. It was guarded by 30 Zenari warships. All ships, attack pattern Delta, General Miller ordered. Remember your training. The human and alien ships moved together, like they had practiced for years, not weeks. The Farazi fighters were fast and good at hitting small targets. The heavy Volari ships, piloted by Kralix's people, absorbed damage while human vessels fired from behind their protection. On the Zenari command ship, the alien captain was confused by what he saw. How are they coordinating so well? These species should not work together. The battle lasted for 3 hours. 6 allied ships were destroyed, but they managed to set the depot on fire. Huge explosions ripped through the Zenari facility as fuel and ammunition blew up. The allied fleet pulled back to a safe distance to watch the destruction. General Miller opened a channel to all ships. Well done, everyone. This is the first major blow against the Zenari Empire, but not the last. Together, we will free every world under their control. The alien ships sent back messages of thanks and celebration. For the first time in generations, they had hope. The Zenari commander sent a message to the human general before retreating. You think you understand war, human. You have only seen a small part of our power. We will bring forces from across our empire. We will turn your world to ash. General Miller didn't seem worried by the threat. You still don't understand what you're facing, do you? You taught us what hell looks like. We've been taking notes. As the Allied fleet headed home, news of their victory spread to other worlds under Zenari control. People who had been slaves for generations began to whisper the name of Earth and the new alliance. Some began to secretly sabotage Zenari operations. Others made plans to escape and join the fight. Back on Earth, Admiral Porter received reports of new alien species wanting to join their cause. The Liberation Alliance was growing stronger each day. The Zenari thought they were punishing us, he told President Kelly. Instead, they gave us the greatest gift possible. They united us with the rest of the galaxy. Admiral William Porter stood on the bridge of the Alliance flagship Vengeance. After 6 months of battles across dozens of star systems, they were finally approaching the heart of the Zenari Empire. Through the large viewing window, he could see the fleet of 200 ships from 18 different species. All ships report ready for jump, said his communications officer. William nodded. He had aged 10 years in the past few months, his hair now completely gray. But his eyes still burned with determination. Send the signal. Tell all ships to jump in 5 minutes. The plan was simple but dangerous. They would jump directly into the Zenari home system and attack before reinforcements could arrive. Intelligence officer Michelle Hayes had discovered that most of the Zenari fleet was scattered across their empire, trying to put down rebellions on many worlds. Michelle approached William with a datapad. "Sir, I've analyzed the latest scans of the Zenari homeworld. There's something strange happening on the third moon." William looked at the images. The moon had a massive facility built into its surface. Energy readings were off the charts. "What are they doing there?" he asked. Michelle's face was grim. "Based on the data we've collected, I believe it's some kind of reality-altering technology. They're trying to build a weapon that can change the fabric of space-time itself." William felt a chill. Such a weapon could destroy not just worlds, but entire regions of space. It had to be stopped. "Contact Colonel Martinez. We need to change the plan." Frank Martinez received the new orders in his ship. His special operations team, including Olivia Clark and several alien allies, gathered around him as he explained the mission. "We'll drop in first, before the main attack," he told them. "Our job is to infiltrate this facility and shut it down before they can use it." Olivia studied the facility plans. "Security will be tight. We'll need to move fast." One of the alien team members, a small reptilian creature named Trisk who could climb walls, nodded. "I can get into the ventilation system and disable security." They boarded a stealth ship designed by Dr. Hughes. It was nearly invisible to Zenari sensors. As the main fleet prepared for battle, Frank's team launched silently toward the Zenari moon. They landed a mile from the facility and moved carefully across the rocky surface. The facility was carved into a crater, with strange towers reaching toward the stars. "Stay low," Frank whispered as they approached. Guards patrolled the entrance, tall Zenari soldiers carrying energy weapons. Trisk moved ahead, climbing up the wall and into a small opening. 20 minutes later, the lights near a side entrance flickered. "That's our signal," Frank said. "Move in." They entered the facility through the side door. Inside, alarms were silent. Trisk had done his job well. The team moved through the corridors, following the map Michelle had provided. They reached a large room filled with Zenari scientists. In the center was a machine unlike anything they had seen before. It pulsed with energy, creating small tears in the air that showed glimpses of other places, maybe even other times. But what shocked Frank most was what he saw around the edges of the room. Cages filled with beings from dozens of worlds. Some were connected to the machine by tubes and wires. They were being used to power it somehow. "Even hell has limits," Frank muttered. "These monsters don't." Olivia set up explosives around the machine while Frank and the others prepared to free the prisoners. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. "We've been spotted," Olivia said. "We need to hurry." As armed Zenari guards rushed into the room, Frank made a quick decision. "Free as many prisoners as you can. I'll hold them off." He and 2 alien teammates took positions behind equipment, firing at the Zenari guards. The battle was intense, with energy beams flying in all directions. Olivia worked frantically on the explosives while others opened cages and helped the weakened prisoners. "Charges set," she finally called. 2 minutes until detonation. Frank ordered everyone to pull back. "Get to the ship. Move." As they retreated through the facility, Frank contacted Admiral Porter. "Sir, we found it. They're using prisoners to power some kind of space-time weapon. We've set charges, but you need to hit this moon with everything you've got." William's voice came through the radio. "Understood. Get your team out of there. The fleet is jumping in now." Above the moon, space seemed to tear open as the Alliance fleet arrived. The battle for the heart of the Zenari Empire had begun. The battle above the Zenari homeworld was the largest space fight in the history of the galaxy. Alliance ships fired at the Zenari defense fleet. Explosions lit up the darkness of space like small suns. On the Vengeance, Admiral Porter directed the attack. "Keep the pressure on their left flank. Don't let them regroup." Frank Martinez and his team had escaped from the moon facility just before it exploded. Now they watched from their ship as the Alliance forces pushed toward the planet. The Zanari are falling back to their final defense line, Michelle Hayes reported, studying the tactical display. Suddenly, alarms blared across all Alliance ships. A massive energy reading came from the Zanari capital city on the planet below. "They're activating something big," Michelle said, her voice tight with worry. "It's similar to the weapon we destroyed on the moon, but much larger." Dr. Hughes, who had joined the flagship for the final battle, checked the readings. "They're trying to tear a hole in space-time. If they succeed, it could destroy everything in this system, including their own planet. They would rather die than lose," Admiral Porter said grimly. "Can we stop it?" Dr. Hughes thought for a moment. "Maybe. If we could reverse the energy flow, it might backfire on their own defensive grid." "How do we do that?" William asked. "I've been working with Zev and other alien scientists," she explained. "We developed a counter-device based on what we learned about their technology, but someone would need to get it into their main power facility." Frank Martinez stepped forward. "My team will do it." While the space battle continued, Frank's team took a small, fast ship down to the planet's surface. They landed near the capital city, which was protected by a massive energy shield. "The shield is controlled from that tower," Olivia said, pointing to a tall spire in the center of the city. They fought their way through Zanari troops, helped by rebels from the planet itself. Not all Zanari supported their leaders' actions. Some had secretly opposed the war for years. They reached the central tower after heavy fighting. Olivia and Zev worked quickly to install Dr. Hughes' device into the main power system. "It's ready," Olivia finally said. "When they activate their weapon, this will reverse the energy flow." They retreated to a safe distance just as the Zanari Directorate, the ruling council of the Empire, gave the order to activate their doomsday weapon. A beam of energy shot up from the city toward the Alliance fleet, but instead of destroying the ships, the beam twisted back on itself. The energy hit the city's shield generators, causing them to fail. With the shields down, Alliance forces landed on the capital. President Kelly herself came to the planet with representatives from all Alliance species. They marched into the hall of the Directorate, where the Zanari leaders were trying to escape. "It's over," President Kelly told them. "Your empire has fallen." The head of the Directorate, a large Zanari with decorated scales, hissed in anger. "You think you've won. We still have forces across the galaxy. We will rebuild." "No," Kelly said firmly. "You won't. Every world you conquered is now free. Every species you enslaved is now our ally. Your empire wasn't strong. It was built on fear, and now everyone has stopped being afraid." Later that day, President Kelly addressed all the people of the Alliance from the steps of the Directorate building. Humans stood side by side with dozens of alien species. "Today marks the end of the Zanari Confederation and the beginning of a new era of cooperation," she said. "They unleashed hell thinking we would break. Instead, we built something stronger from the ashes. Not just humanity's future, but a future for all sentient life that chooses cooperation over conquest." As the sun set on the Zanari homeworld, ships from the Alliance distributed food and medical supplies to people who had lived under the Directorate's harsh rule. Former enemies worked together to rebuild what war had destroyed. Admiral Porter stood with Dr. Hughes, watching the activity. "We came out here expecting to fight for our survival," he said. "Instead, we found our place in the galaxy." Dr. Hughes smiled. "The Zanari thought they were teaching us about hell. But humans have always been good at taking the worst situations and building something better." Across the stars, worlds that had lived in fear for generations celebrated their freedom. And at the center of it all was Earth, not as conquerors, but as the spark that had ignited a revolution and built a new alliance among the stars.